Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode 178. As you can see here, we're going to be talking about the Archer. It's not in the 3050 book because it's unseen, reseen, unseen, whatever. Whatever iteration that we're on right now. So basically it wasn't in the book at the time of printing. Alright, now the Archer comes in at 70 tons. It's a kind of an iconic mech. It's been around forever and a day. It's a 460. Doesn't have jump jets. Well, there's some variants out there that might have them, or you can get some pilot-specific ones that redesign them. But typically, you don't have jump jets with the Archer. But with the 4M, we do. All right, this thing comes in with 10 double heat sinks. Endo steel. So yes, we got some good technology coming in out of the Free Worlds League. And it has a plethora of weapon systems. We have two LRM-20s with Artemis in the right and left torso. With we got 4 tons of armor that goes with our ammo. Sorry, So 4 tons of ammo. That are, let's see, there should be in both torsos. Let me check here. Yes, 2 in each torso. And case. Yes, we have case. So in case this thing decides to go nuclear, you don't have to worry about losing your entire mech. Now, it does have 4 medium lasers, 1 in each arm. And it has 2 facing towards the rear with the gear in the center torso. I personally would like to see them flip-flopped around, but I guess if you decide to go running, fire all your weapons and decide to leave, you got something that will shoot to the rear while you're running and trying to escape. So, and what do I think of it? It's pretty much your iconic mech with some goodness with it because, they put the endo steel on this thing, which is a lot, 3.5 tons. Which is where you get your Artemis and your case tossed on board, and the extra armor. So there's nothing about this mech that I don't like. It is a good fire support mech. It has capability of shooting for at least 12 turns, putting missiles down range with the 220 racks. So it is pretty much a good mech in my opinion. The only thing that would make this even better is if it had jump jets, but you can't have everything all the time. I would personally, like I said, rather have the 2 medium lasers that face to the rear, face forward. But, that's just a preference of the pilot sometimes. Some individuals end up in scrums where it's like, I use my medium lasers that face to the rear all the time. Like, what are you doing that you're getting everybody behind you? I don't know. So that's something to think about. But I prefer them to the front because I like my stuff, with the little sign face towards enemy and, give them some laser love. So that's kind of like how I look at it. Now, how I usually use this mech whenever I get my hands on one or get it into a campaign is that I like to park it someplace in some good woods, heavy woods or something like that. Preferably heavy woods, and just lay down fire because the best you're ever gonna get is a 2 mod. If you run this thing 5 hexes, and if you can find yourself some heavy woods, why move until the point where you have to move because you got no targets to shoot at? And if that's the case, the enemy is out of range. And typically, how I like to use it is empty out the ammo bays of all the ammo, which takes 12 turns, and typically not very often a game will last past 12 to 15 turns anyway, so it's been pretty much decided before that ever gets there. And then if somebody does get close, I prefer to have 4 medium lasers that can shoot down range. Now, you don't have, with this configuration the way it is, you don't have to worry about any heat problems with this because obviously it dissipates 20. You got the 2 racks, which is 12, and if you got 2 medium lasers, that's 18, and if you run, that's 20. So this is a cool mech. The only time it's got to worry about it if it takes an engine hit or gets smacked with some Inferno missiles or something of that nature. And that's about the only way you're going to heat this mech up. Now, if you go like what I do and face him towards the front, with the 2 medium lasers, a lot of times, there's been times when it's like, okay, I don't have anybody that I can shoot close enough with those racks, because obviously the targets are right in my face, so I'd rather use the medium lasers. And your fire support lance is trying to figure out how to disengage itself from whatever's coming its way. Typically, it's a light scout or something, or a flanker or some type that's trying to come in and cause havoc to break up your fire support platforms. So that's typically what I see when it comes to something close. But if something does close and they're within the minimum ranges of my LRMs, and it's like, okay, I might as well use the medium lasers versus the LRMs. And that's the whole purpose of somebody coming in and getting in your face, because they want you to not send the LRM-20s downrange. So you have a couple options there. It's like, okay, I can either fire my stuff downrange, hit the targets with the 20 racks, or take care of this annoying light mech that might be doing some damage to you. And if that's the case, typically it's not a lot of damage, so you may consider ignoring it until the point where it's like, okay, this thing's on my 6. And then I guess that's where the medium lasers might come in handy, fighting, shooting to the rear. But you have stuff in your arms too, so it's here nor there. Now, there is, well, when it comes to this mech, the only things that would change, like I said, would be my 2 medium lasers facing forward. That's it. It is a mech that I like just coming right out of the book. This is something that I like, and I don't see any need to do some drastic changes to it. Now, there is a plethora of different variants with this thing. Alright, there's the 5R. This comes from the Rashalahag Republic. Came out in 3050 when it still existed. This one has the 2 ER large lasers, and it has the 2 LRM-15 racks. They strip off a little bit of armor off of it, and it has Artemis on board. It has 12 double heat sinks. So it's one of those mechs where if something gets close, you can fire the 2 ER large lasers. And if you move any, that's the only time you're gonna, either if you walk, that's where you're gonna find yourself heating up. If you run, go up 2. You could do that for 2 turns before you start having this problem. And it does have Indos steel on board the chassis, so that's where you're starting to see a lot of good technology is thrown on these things. Now, personally, this one, I don't see the need for 2 ER large lasers on it. I'd rather they kept one. If they want to have an ER large, fine. 2 15 racks in an ER large. That's basically 22 heat. So you could turn around and take that 5 tons that you have from, put on a little more armor and some medium lasers or something of that nature. So that'd be something I'd think about. But I've used it before, not a bad mech, but it just, to me, you're wasting tonnage. Either use the 15s as your long range support in combination with a ER large laser and get rid of one. That would be a better version, personally. Now we got the 5S. This one, oh boy. Okay, this one has the XL engines. And it has streak launchers. It has with 2 tons. It has 2 LRM-15s. It has 4 medium pulse lasers, and it carries around an ARC beacon with a ton of ammo. Yay! This thing's a major cluster. Let's just put it that way. It has case on board, but I've used this one before, and it's like you're trying to get close enough to use the NARC beacon, and by the time I ever got close enough to even use the NARC beacon or the medium pulse lasers on it, it was dead. And they just like, oh, yeah, that's the one with the XL engines on it, right? Yeah, and it's like they just focus fire, kill it. All right, move on to the next one. All we had to do is take out a torso. It's gone. No big deal. Done. So I've never was a fan of this one. I could never get it. It's like you have all these medium pulse lasers, and it's more or less a mech that works best in a city fight. And if you're never in a city fight and you're trying to fight with one of these, like at Gen Con, using one of these, and it was like, oh, I got to cross over the open terrain against the clans using this thing. And it's like, okay, now I'm in range of the LRMs, and they go, oh, here, have a whole bunch of Gauss rifle rounds and some ER PPCs, and just like, okay, there's a dead mech. All right, moving on. We have the 5W, the whiskey version. All right, this one is came out in 3050. The mech was upgraded with XL engines to save weight and used 10 double heat sinks. Okay, and retains the 2 LRM-20s, but replaced the other weaponry with SRM-4 launchers in each arm and a NARC beacon once again. And it was supplied with 4 tons of LRM ammo, 2 tons for the SRMs, and 2 tons for the NARC beacon, and it carries case. So, okay, at least when you take out the torso or hit some ammo, you're only losing half the mech, but it's still dead. And you got to get close enough with the NARC beacon that you can have massive amounts of problem. Now, the only good thing about it is that you do have some extra ammo with the SRM, so you do have some options of special munitions. Okay, but personally, I'd rather have seen if just get rid of the NARC beacon and put something else on, at least upgrade. I'd rather have maybe upgrade the SRM launchers to 6s and still have the special ammo and go with it that way. So that would be an option, because by the time you get close enough with the NARC beacon and the delay of the NARC beacon, you're probably better off putting just put Artemis or something on board, just to increase your that way. That's so. But yeah, it's like, okay, Artemis is taken out by ECM. Yeah, that's a good case of the situation, but I'd rather not have to fire a weapon system to be able to get the bonus. All right, you're just throwing it. To me, it's wasting tonnage. You throw something on a light mech like that. Okay, that's just the way I think. All right, then we got the 6S that came out in 67. 3067 has a light fusion engine. Okay, if I had my druthers, I'd rather have a light fusion engine over the XL engine. And then it comes to the case of if you're going to put on an XL engine or a light fusion engine, why not bump up its speed? Okay, this is a mech you could possibly kick it up to a 5.8 mover at least. You know, make it a little faster mover. Hey, that's a thought. So, you know, something to think about. Make things that make you go, All right, let's move on. The carries 2 LRM-20 launchers with Artemis. Okay, there we go. It has 2 Streak 2 launchers and 2 medium lasers for close combat. And then it has an ER small laser to the rear of its head. All right. And then it carries 6 tons of ammo for the LRM and 2 tons for the SRM, which is protected by case. All right, so if you do lose a torso, you're not completely dead. You're just heating up a lot. And you have a good amount of ammo, so you can put out some special munitions with it. Say if you want to drop smoke, pop smoke, yay, and try to escape. So, but you know, the only problem is that with the streak, you don't get, sadly. So it's a kind of an improvement on the 5S, but yeah, okay. Still, you're dealing with a light fusion engine. Then we got the 6W. Alright, this is a modification. New Vandenberg. It used the older rather than newer technology. It carries 4 medium lasers, mounted 8 rocket 20 launchers and 2 rocket launchers. The 210s. Alright, they got 4 one-shot rocket launchers, 20s to the front. So they got all those are to the front, and then you got 2 that fire to the rear. So basically, it's one of these mechs where you come up on your target, get a good fire solution, and then blast them with all 8 launchers at once, and then you turn around and try to escape and fire the 2 launchers to the rear. And so you could have basically strip the armor off somebody really quick and then DD them out of the area. Not a fan. You know, basically, I've seen this one in action before, and it's like, okay, you fired your wad of missiles, and now you're just down to 4 medium lasers. And what you gonna do? So now you got a 70-ton mech running around with 4 medium lasers. Woefully under firepowered, to say the least. Alright, so let's move on to the 7L Lima. This came out of the Capella Federation in '67. Has stealth armor, it has Guardian ECM, and it carries around 12.5 tons of stealth armor, armed with 2 LRM-20 launchers, 2 ER medium lasers. It's a trade-off from the massive upgrade that came with the mech speed. Yeah, so this is the one. It's a 3.5. Yeah, so it's an attempt to compensate the mech with 3 jump jets. So it's a 3.53. This one makes it interesting, you know, with the stealth armor and all that. But when you do connect, it's like the best they're ever gonna have is they got to run just to get its mods up there a little bit. And you know, my experience, I've fought against these things before, and it's like they just get slaughtered. It's like lambs to the slaughter. Not a great mech by any means. It's kind of like the last one where she's like, okay, you're putting good technology on it, but you're turning around and I'm sorry, it's a pile. And then we got the 7S. This Archer was introduced in 3070. Has heavy ferrofibrous armor with case in place of the Indo. Yeah. Okay, I'd rather have Indo. And it has 2 LRM launchers with Artemis. Okay, that's good. And it has an ER medium laser and a rear-facing small pulse laser, and a pair of Streak 2 launchers. Personally, I'd rather just stay with the 4M. You know, to me, that's not much of an upgrade, in my opinion. It's more of a downgrade. And we got the 8M. This one came in built on an Indosteel chassis. Yes, came out in 3067. Word of Blake. All hail Word of Blake. All right, carries the 2 Dart LRM-15 launchers with Artemis on either torso, and it has an ER large laser in the center torso for long range, and it mounts 3 ER medium lasers for short range support, 1 in each arm and 1 in the head, and it's protected by armor, and it's 12 double heat sinks. Now this is the one that goes to where I was talking about the version that had and it does have 4 loads for the LRM, and it has case. And this is the version that has just an ER large and the 2 launchers with the 15. So this one pumps out 22 heat, and the only thing that gets you close to the 12, 24 heat capacity is how you move. So this is it's like the one I was telling you about that had the 2 ER large lasers. Instead, you don't need both ER larges, you need 1. So it could turn around and be a good fire support mech or direct fire. and throw some of that into some shorter range stuff for firepower. Not a bad mech overall. Now, it does have a problem with you fire those ER medium lasers, and so you're looking at 25, 27 heat. So yeah, if you're firing all those and the 2 LRM launchers instead of the ER, yeah, you're going up 3. You can do that for a turn and then turn around and have to not shoot one of them to cool off. So when they get in close, you can fire the launchers long downrange, or you can fire the medium laser. So it's, you got some options there with that one. It's not bad. It's just that it's a little hot, depending on how you fire it. Now you get those individuals like smashing the fire button will fire the 2 LRMs. They'll fire the large laser and the 3 ER medium lasers, and then find themselves barbecuing the pilot, so causing all kinds of havoc because they think they can alpha strike somebody and kill it, another mech, and it's like, oh, sorry, you missed with half that and did a little plinking damage, and now you're hot, and now you're not such a great mech. Then we got the 9K. It came out in 3071. This one has the MML5 launchers, 4 of them. It has, for both the SRM and LRM ammunition. This mech has 3 light PPCs and a C3 slave. So if you got a scout out there or some fast flanker that has another slave on board that's a little farther out, this one can do a pretty good job. You don't have that indirect capability with it like you do with a normal archer, but if you're thinking that you're going to be doing direct fire, hey, it's not bad. And the 3 light PPCs could do a little bit of good damage, so there's some possibilities there. Then the 9KC, this was a Dark Age one. It has 4, basically the 9K, but now we have this one has the replaces a 3rd light PPC and slave with a boosted slave and an ER medium laser. It has 2 ER PPCs and it still retains the 4 MML 5 with the ammo. So basically they're just tweaking how they're going to use it. So refer back to the 9K. Alright, so now we got the 9M. This one has a light fusion engine on board, and it's now a 3.5 once again. So it's like, yeah, when you start slowing stuff down, you just make it easier to hit. So basically, you're sort of looking at it as something that you're going to plan on using for a city fight. So you a little more mobile in a city, but without being mobile. Okay. The 9W, Word of Blake in 3078. This carries a pair of ER large lasers, Artemis for the launcher, LM15 launchers, and has experimental Angel ECM and Void signature system. So they're not bad, not great, not something to write about. Now there's the famous one, the Archer Wolf. This variant carries clan-specific weapons. The arms mount 2 ER large lasers, a pair of small pulse lasers covering the rear. The LRM-20s are enhanced with Artemis, ECM, and anti-missile system protected, and has case and 15 double heat sinks. Keep the mech cool. So yeah, it's one of those mechs that you can, you're going to be pumping out 36. So this thing could really heat up pretty quickly if you fired all the long range stuff down range. So it's one of those ones that you have to fire the you can fire 2 ER large lasers and a LRM-20 and think about if you're moving or not. So it's not one of those ones if you fired everything you're like, oh my gosh, we're cooking. You can bake the pilot pretty quickly in one of these things. So that is everything when it comes to running through all those mechs. That's a lot of talking. Lots of different variants out there. I hope you guys like these different versions. We're getting down to the wire when it comes to the 3050 book. There's a few more left to do, and we'll get around to those. And let's see, then we're going to move on to the 3055 book. Hey, things are going to change soon. Different look, different mechs. Alright, like and subscribe. Share with all your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Hellcrex out.